awesome voice. This is Any Given Sunday on KUAW. Coach 24, Darwin Penny, my co-host, my brother with another mother. He is not here tonight. He is en route to his next assignment. Hopefully he's going to find some great players that can play for the Royals and help the Royals get out of this dismal start that they're going. And behind the scenes, running the show like always to perfection, DJ Scatter, George Walker. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Well, I'm doing just fine this evening. I think everything is looking good.
That's right. That's right. So tonight we were supposed to have our guest, which was owner and head coach of the Kansas City Panthers, Jimmy Ross. He was unable to make it. His schedule was just too busy. But the reason why we were going to have him on the show tonight is because this Saturday at 4:15 is it at Center High School? Oh, wow. Wow. I didn't know this. Usually they're playing at the University Academy, which is off of 67th and Holmes Road, and they're saying that it is going to be 8715 Holmes Road, which is Center High School this week. We are, the Kansas City Panthers are hosting the Tulsa Gators. They are one of the premier semi-pro football teams. Last year and the year before, they were nationally ranked, and I believe within the last year or two, they challenged for a national championship. So they are going to come up to Kansas City to face the Kansas City Panthers. And as if you can see, I am wearing my Panther jersey, number 26, which is what my brother wore. They retired his number. The Panthers did, and he was put in the Hall of. He was in the or nominated for the Hall of Fame. So, but I was wearing my shirt or my jersey to represent the Panthers, and but if you guys are for fans that want to go out and watch a really good football game, I will be announcing, so you will get to hear my voice. Which is always a good thing, but to see those players go out and play a really good game, Tulsa is, like I said, a great team, and they have media, and I'm trying to think what, I think it's either through YouTube or something, but they will have broadcasts so their fans in Tulsa, Oklahoma, can watch them. So this will be a really great experience, and this will also begin the beginning of the CMFL, the Central Midwest Football League season. And my close friend and who was really tight with my brother, David Day Jones, this is his last go-around. So instead of waiting until near the end of the season, he is saying that this will be his last season playing quarterback for the Kansas City Panthers, which is he has played for the majority of his semi-pro career. So anyway, it is $10 for adults. I want to say ages 2 or 3 and under are free, but children are less than $10. They don't have it down here for me to read that off. But anyway, 4:15 is the kickoff, and it will be at Center High School, which is on 8715 Holmes Road. And so everybody, please come out and watch them. If not for me, at least for the team. So anyway, but I just wanted to give a shout out to them. Like I said, Coach Jimmy Ross was supposed to come tonight, and his schedule would not allow him to make it out. But that's okay because he's getting prepared for his season opener with Tulsa. So, and I am looking forward to it, to another season of announcing football for them. So, anyway, I definitely would rather talk about Kansas City Panther football than right now the Kansas City Royals, because the Royals are just not, it is not looking good. They stand right now at 4-15 on the season. Now, here's the thing. They are 1-12 at home. They are 3-3 on the road. So does that mean if they just play the rest of their games of the season that they may end up 500? I don't know. Hopefully that would happen, but right now they can't win at home for nothing. And here's the thing. In the first homestand, which was 7 games, it was the first 7 games of their season, they scored 17 runs and gave up 29 runs. Then they went on the road. They played Texas and San Francisco, winning 2 at San Francisco and nearly sweeping San Francisco, and then winning 1 out of 3 from the Rangers. They scored 27 runs in those 6 games and gave up only 29 runs. Then they came back home, played Toronto and Texas, and they scored 32 runs and gave up 52 runs. Now, here's the thing. They are averaging, as a team, 206, which is by far the worst in baseball. They have struck out in over 650 at-bats. They have struck out 176 times. They've had 130 hits and 59 runs. Now, that is not very good. And I can't see where I get the 30 or the 59 runs, because I'm looking at my mind and adding this up, and it should be 76 runs. So it's 76 runs. But anyway, they are not hitting the ball. Now they're giving up a lot of runs in the first series of the season. The first 7 games, they were averaging. Their ERA was like 3.2, which was one of the top 5 best in baseball. Now it's 28th and 5.46 ERA. They have given up almost 30 home runs, and here's a comparison. Tampa Bay leads the major leagues in ERA, and ironically, they are also leading the leagues in most wins and record and everything else. Their ERA is 2.57. The Royals are 3 runs worse than them. But the good news is Oakland, that is tanking really bad, because they are looking for some land in Las Vegas and getting ready to move to Las Vegas. And so that would be another Oakland team leaving the Oakland area to go and play in greener pastures, as you would say. The Raiders left a couple of years ago, and they are getting ready to look at a possible way of building a new stadium in Las Vegas and get rid of Oakland. Now, here's the issue. Oakland's, the fans, I feel really bad for them, because they are passionate. Those Raider fans, whether you like them or you don't like them, they are passionate. And that's what you want in a fan. I mean, the Chiefs fans, when the Royals were playing well in 14, 15, and 16, we were coming out to watch them. And 2 days ago was my son's 34th birthday. Well, in 2015, I took my daughter, because her birthday is April 5th, and so every year she wanted to go to the Royals game. So I took her to the Royals game. We had seats down the first base line, front row, and that night, or we went on Sunday. That Friday night on the April 16th was the night that Brett Laurie took out Alcides Escobar because everybody was trying to intimidate the Royals. Well, he ended up taking out Escobar. Escobar was out for a few games. So Sunday, Yordano Ventura was pitching. And I want to say it was like the 5th or 6th inning. He drills Brett Laurie. And I'm telling you what, the fans erupted. And I mean, we just went nuts. It was awesome. It was totally awesome. Now the umpiring kicked him out of the game, but that was okay because it showed who Yordano Ventura was. I mean, he was a young gun, but he was not going to put up with all the BS that other teams were giving the Royals, and it showed the type of person that we needed to get us going. And he was not necessarily the leader because you had other guys. You had Hosmer, you had Alex Gordon, you had Salvador Perez. But he was a guy that you didn't jack with when he came and when he pitched. You wasn't going to expect him to just lop it over the plate and let you hit it out of there. So, and saying that, Coach 24, his first day of coming to Kansas City, because he is from Texas, and his first day, as he has said before, was the day that Yordano Ventura was killed in a car accident in Venezuela. And to be perfectly honest, since then, the Royals have never been the same. And I would actually compare this to the Boston Celtics in 1986 when they drafted Len Bias. Len Bias was a forward for the Maryland Terrapins. And they are Terrapins, I'm sorry. And so Len Bias, I mean, Boston had just won the NBA title. They had just beaten the Houston I believe it was the Houston Rockets. Actually it was, because Houston was in the finals in 81 and 86. And Boston had just beaten them. And then they turned around and they were able to draft a premier player in Len Bias, who actually was going to give Michael Jordan, I believe, a run for his money, being one of the newest, the best new players in the NBA. And it helped, and it would have helped Larry Bird because he was slowly starting to develop back issues. And even though he did have them, he'd still play. But with that youth, a lot of times an older player, when you get youth instilled in them, it allows them to be able to join in and play just as well. Well, 2 days later after they were drafted, Len Bias died snorting cocaine. And I was bummed because I really liked Len Bias. I didn't like him going to the Boston Celtics, but I did like Len Bias. And Len Bias was a great player. And it took Boston literally 15 years to recover from that draft pick alone. And the Royals right now are in roughly year 6. Year 6 of losing Yordano Ventura, and they have still never recovered. Hopefully that they will be able to recover. Hopefully they could get a player like a Yordano Ventura who had that grit and that I ain't going to put up with your BS attitude, and just hasn't happened. Hopefully we will be able to get that. Now, saying this, Major League Baseball, they changed a lot of rules. They had a pitching clock. You can't do major league. You had restrictions on shifts. You have larger bases. you have a whole bunch of different rule changes to make the game faster and hopefully better. And so right now, the average time of a 9 inning baseball game is 2 minutes and 38 seconds, which is the lowest since 1984. And by the way, people, I was 18 years old. I had just graduated or I was just on the verge of graduating high school. That's how long ago it's been. Last season it was 303, and so they have really done well to try to get these games going faster. Now, here's the other thing: the MLB is currently on pace for 3,107 successful stolen bases, which will be the most in 11 years, when 2012 had 3,229 stolen bases. And last year, it only had 2,486 stolen bases. So they just they're trying to move, they're trying to move the game faster. You know, you got the New York Yankees. You have even the LA Dodgers and LA Angels, and teams that can hit the snot out of the ball. The Padres, teams like that. Well, Kansas City, and other teams like Kansas City do not have power hitters, so they have to manufacture runs in a different way. So they have to move runners, sacrifice runners, steal bases, whatever they can do to get runs so they can, score more runs and catch up with the, and try to match up with the sluggers, the Yankees and Aaron Judge and all them. So the Royals right now, I believe, only have like 26 stolen bases or something, and the last several years they were usually one of the best in stolen bases. This year they're one of the worst, and it goes back to the 206 average. You have 3 players that have 17 hits or more. Vinny Pasquantino has 17. Salvi Perez has 17, and Bobby Witt Jr. leads the team with 19. No other player has more than 11 hits on the team. And they just got to find a way to get hit. They got to find a way to get on base. I have to check up on my I'm getting up here and trying to find my my stats and stuff like that. Well, here's another set of stats. So at home, they're 1-12. On the road, they're 3-3. I've already said that. They have been shut out 4 times and have not shut out a team. They are 1-1 in one-run games and blowouts. And I want to say a blowout is roughly 5 runs or more. I believe that's what it is, 5 or 6, something like that. And they are 0-6. I mean, they're not even playing close. I mean, if they were playing gritty ball, they were just losing 1-run games, which is not good, but at least you know that they're in the game. They're not even in the game. And a lot of times they have already down in the first inning, and that has been some of the big thing with that's causing it. Now, I just saw Max Scherzer was suspended 10 games by Major League Baseball after being ejected for an alleged sticky substance. So he said he swore on his children's lives. I'm hoping that his kids are still alive when he said this, but he wasn't using an illegal substance. But there's no way. I mean, he has been injured. He's barely getting back on the scene. He's not throwing the ball very well. So what do? You sometimes have to, as you would say, cheat a little bit. You have to do a Gaylord Perry type, throwing spitball, junk ball, whatever you have to do it. But um, but since the MLB has instituted its crackdown on illegal substance, two other pitchers besides him has received 10-game suspensions: Hector Santiago and Caleb Smith. So he is out for 10 days or 10 games, and so yeah, it's not looking good. Um, and it's the Mets, which is perfectly fine because they are struggling to get, they keep buying these players, but they don't even have as many World Series victories since 1985 than the Royals. They have only one they only have one World Series championship since 1985, and the Royals have two championships since 1985. Now, I know the Mets went to a World Series. That was when Piazza was on there, and Clemens threw the bat at Piazza, and the Yankees had beaten the Mets. But the Mets have only been to two World Series since 85, which is roughly 86, because that's when they went the last year and won. And that was because Bill Buckner had a ball go underneath his legs, which helped helped the Mets win. So, but saying that, they are at least cracking down on these on the substance and stuff, and that's good. So, we now. So that's enough with baseball right this moment. Real quick, let me tell you this. Next Thursday, we're going to have our show. And when the show ends at 7 o'clock, that is when the official NFL draft will start. It starts at 7 o'clock. The Chiefs have the 31st pick, which is the last pick in the first round. And a lot of people are trying to predict what they're going to pick. And so when we go on break here, I will discuss that a little bit afterwards. But real quick, Tua Tagovailoa is considering retiring at 25. Now, when I was on our show on KUAW, which 816-599-6893 is the phone number if you want to call in and speak your piece. When it was the hat trick or B-Dogs, I think it was hat trick, but it could have been the B-Dogs. I had predicted that Tua, when he got drafted in 2019, was not going to make it 5 years. And right now, I am on pace to be perfectly correct. Tua is considered retiring after getting all these concussions. Now, I didn't think that he was going to get concussions and get hurt, and that was the reason why he was not going to play anymore. I just did not think he was that good of a quarterback. And to be honest, an Alabama system quarterback has not been that well in the last 20 years or 30 years. And to be honest, I want to go back all the way to Ken Stabler back in the 70s, was the last Alabama quarterback that was really a worthy quarterback. Not a serviceable quarterback. That's Blaine Gabbert, which he signed with the Chiefs. But Alabama quarterbacks have not done well. Now, you got Jalen Hurts, who played at Alabama, but he's also playing at Oklahoma, and we will talk about him also and his new contract that he just signed earlier this week. So, but anyway, so we got all that. But I'm looking forward to the draft. Um, if anybody is going to the draft, let me know. Call in, punch in a text on the message. DJ Scatter is sitting there looking at you, waiting for you guys or seeing all of your guys' posts and everything else. So I can't see it because all I see is me. And I can't really see me that well because I have my reading glasses on and I look blurry.
Okay.
So, but it's all good. So, but I'll tell you what, let's go do this. Let's go ahead and we'll take a break now. We're at halftime on Any Given Sunday on KUAW. Again, 816-599-8693 is the phone number. We're going to take a break and then we'll come back and we'll hit it again. So we will see you on the other side.
All right, and you're listening to KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station, located in the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center, 4510 East Linwood Boulevard. And as he said, you can call in at any time during this show, 816-599-6893. That's 816-599-6893. You can also text or put a message in on Facebook, and we will see that and read those texts to the awesome voice. All right, we'll be back in just a minute.
Okay, I am back for the second half of Any Given Sunday on KUAW. 816-599-6893 is the phone number. Give us a call, speak your piece, send a message. let DJ Scatter read it to us and everything else. And May 13th, they are going to have a drone flying class lessons for kids and a computer class for the adults. And this is through, if you want any more information, go to bftaa.org, remakelearningdays.org/Kansas City. So May 13th is the day. And where is that at again?
It's going to be here.
It is going to be here.
4510 East Linwood Boulevard,
4510 East Linwood Boulevard,
outside.
and it will be outside. Hopefully it will be beautiful weather like it has now. Now this morning it was raining, and it was really cloudy all day long, but it is starting to get a lot nicer, so that's a good thing. Now, we're getting back in here. We've got Bobby Witt Jr. Is going to be getting used to some booing, as you would say. I would imagine all the people that have gone out to watch the game. Now, I will say this. I am a Royals fan. I will always be a Royals fan. I am very, very disappointed and even frustrated with how they have performed so far this year. Saying that, it is not going to stop me from going to the games. Now, I don't go to 30, 40, 50 games. I go to maybe 5, maybe up to 10 games this year. But I will still go. I will still support them because I'll tell you what, you may not like the Royals in the product, but I like the camaraderie of talking with other fans. My daughter loves going, so I'm going to go with them. And I just enjoy going out there. Now, I had an opportunity to go to the game Tuesday. I could not go because I had other commitments that I made it was way prior to that. But I was still offered tickets to go to the game, and I would have loved to have gone. If it wasn't for my commitment that I had, I would have been there. And even though I wouldn't have liked the fact that the Royals were getting beat bad, I still would have enjoyed the fact of sitting with my friends and talking with them and talking with other people around. And it is really a good event. Now, let's hope the Royals will start winning and it will make it much better. Because when we were winning in 14, or I should say when the Royals were winning in 14, 15, and 16, people were coming out there. We were getting 25, even up to 30,000 fans a night. And we were cheering. Right now, they're hearing a lot of stuff. They're hearing that John Sherman wants a downtown stadium. It is going to happen. Whether you want it or not, it is going to happen. They will figure out a way. And, yeah, they'll say, oh, we'll just move him. Well, when he bought the team from David Glass, one of the stipulations was he could not move him. But they didn't say that he couldn't move him from Kauffman Stadium downtown. But like I said, it's going to happen. The problem is if we had a winning team, nobody would care. It would be like, okay, there would still be the naysayers that are going to naysay about anything. They would still say it about the Chiefs right now, and the Chiefs just won the Super Bowl. So you're going to always have them. But saying that, if the Royals had a better product on the field and instead of concentrating more on getting that stadium, I think that's what's been pushing people down. But like I said, the Royals are like your children. When your child has a bad day, you don't push him away. You don't tell him he's worthless or anything else. You hug him, you love him, and you tell them that it will get better. Well, that's what I'm doing with the Royals. The Royals right now need a lot of loving, a lot of hugging, and tell them that we are still there for them. I know it's frustrating, big time. But hey, look, we saw the winning in 14, 15, and 16, and yes, I know I'm going back to that. But we are also seeing the winning from the Chiefs right now. So at least we are dealing with winning. Talk to Buffalo. Ask them when the last time they won a championship anywhere. I'm talking about hockey. I'm talking about basketball. I'm talking about football. It hasn't happened. I am a Buffalo Sabres fan. I was talking with somebody today. I am a Buffalo Sabres fan. I have been a Buffalo Sabres fan since 1975. Buffalo Sabres have only been to 2 Stanley Cups since 1975. 1975 when I was 9 years old, and in 1999 when they had the best goaltender in hockey in Dominik Hasek, and they ended up losing to Brett Hull and the Dallas Stars, and then in '75 the French connection with Gil Perreault lost to the Philadelphia Flyers, which at the time hadn't won anything since like 1930 or something when they were the Philadelphia A's. But they haven't won nothing. So, I mean, we are at least experiencing winning. Yeah, we won. It's been 8 years since our World Series, but we just won a Super Bowl a couple of months ago. Earlier this year, we won a Super Bowl. We won a Super Bowl 3 years before that. So we are experiencing winning. Yes, we are starting to get spoiled a little bit, but saying that, it's still nice to get out there and support your team through thick and thin. And I don't expect you to go out there for all 81 games and support them, or even half of them and stuff. But be there for them. I mean, I still watch them when they're on TV. Yes, I get frustrated. I switch the channels sometimes, but I still watch them. I still find out how they're doing. I still see, MJ Melendez and Salvi and Brady Singer, Brad Keller. And I know some of those players are eventually going to get traded for future references and help other teams make it to the playoffs. And as Coach 24 said, if he had one day as being commissioner, he would split the season, and that would be great if you could split the season, because the fact that it would give the fans new hope. So like right now, there's virtually no hope. But then, like in July, when you start the second season, then you can go, okay, let's go. Hopefully we'll get better. Last year we did play a lot better. I think we played 10 games. We won 10 more games, or we were 10 games better in the second half of the season than we were the first half of the season. So if you had split seasons, that would benefit them. Because you don't have very, very many teams in the playoffs. And you got to realize that when the Royals made it to the World Series, they made it on a team that was a low market or small market team. No team, I mean, yeah, you could say Minnesota won in 87 and 91, but technically they weren't considered small team. And that was before the 94 strike that decimated everything. The closest that to the Royals right now is Tampa Bay, that made it to the World Series a couple of years ago, but they lost to the Dodgers, who is a large market team. So you just have to deal, I know it's frustrating, but we'll get over this, and it will eventually get better, and it'll be much better. So I am going to go a little bit of K-State basketball. K-State and Jerome Tang did a phenomenal job. Now, I can't remember if he won any national coaching titles. I did not. I wasn't sure about that because obviously I'm always into football and everything else. But he should have won National Coach of the Year for the job that he's done. Well, that coaching job that he did, that very well coaching job, got him a 5-star recruit, a guy named David Castillo, who is a 6'1", 175 or 170 pound point guard from Bartlesville, Oklahoma, has announced that he is going to play for the Wildcats. And that is the first 5-star recruit that they have had since Michael Beasley, virtually 15 years ago. But it just shows that, winning does help out. And the fact that Jerome Tang is a very personable guy, and he is well loved at K-State right now. And getting players like that will help just get their program much better. And I'm thinking that's just awesome. I'm not a K-State fan, but I remember back in '98 when they were undefeated and they had a shot at going to the national title. They were in the Big 12 championship game. I still remember when they played Missouri. It was the only time that I wanted K-State to beat Missouri because I wanted them to try to play in that national championship. I liked Bill Snyder that much that I gave them that opportunity. And then they turned around and lost to Texas A&M after they found out that UCLA had lost, and all they had to do was win with about 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and they couldn't do it and ended up losing in overtime. But speaking of Mizzou, the Chiefs have signed a former Mizzou quarterback in Blaine Gabbert. He is going to take Chad Henning's spot as the backup quarterback. He is 33, so he is much younger than Henne was, but I think this is a good move. He's not a bad quarterback. He's just not a star quarterback. He is one of those functional quarterbacks. Hey, he won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. He was backing him up. So backing up Patrick Mahomes will do nothing but be a blessing. So, he's from Baldwin, Missouri. He played at Missouri. I was a fan of his. He was the quarterback right after Chase Daniel was at Missouri and took over for him. And then now the thing of it is he's 13-35 as a starter, but we are not looking for him to be the starting quarterback. We are looking for him to fill in, Chad Henning's role, what Chad Henning did, and there are going to be times where they're going to need him to perform. And so, like the 93-yard drive that Chad Henning had against Jacksonville, the one against Cleveland where he went fourth down and got the 2 yards to Tyreek Hill, and so I see that as a positive thing. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, we had to get us a good backup, so I'm kind of glad that we did pick somebody that has some experience in the league.
Yep.
He's not a young guy, so he should be more poised. He's not looking to start. It's not a competition out there and stuff. He knows his role.
Yep. And
that is a good thing because that gives stability in the quarterback thing. And if he's, works out and all just like Chad Henne, hey, you're there. If something happens to Pat, you're going in.
Absolutely. So
that's what you want.
I totally agree with that.
Because if you had a quarterback battle, that'd be a hard battle to have. I don't think any quarterback want to go against Patrick Mahomes for a position. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a good backup.
Right.
A good backup is like a journeyman baseball player. He knows his job. He's a professional. That's what we want. So I think we're doing a good thing.
Well, and absolutely, and here's the other thing: he will learn from Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. He will learn the system. So he's a 33-year-old veteran, and he has been around the block. He was a number 10 pick in the 2011 draft from Jacksonville, but he will be the one that will be learning. He will learn from Andy Reid. He will learn from Patrick Mahomes, because Patrick Mahomes has a system he runs. Look, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. And when Tom Brady said he retired after the end of this year, he is the quarterback. There is no other quarterback right now that can match Patrick Mahomes. That's how good Patrick Mahomes is. Yes, you have Joe Burrow. Yes, you have Josh Allen. None of them has won a Super Bowl. You have Jalen Hurts.
And I think there are good quarterbacks out there, which makes the game a good game.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We've got the star quarterback, but it takes a whole team to win.
Right.
And we have to see that we keep a team out there on the field that's not having to be carried all the time.
Right, exactly. So, anyway, 816-599-6893 is the phone number. Give us a call. We are near the end of our show, but I would love to hear from you. I know DJ Scatter would definitely love to pick up that phone and hear you guys talking to him.
And we're going to start pushing that more. We need to have the people calling in to KUAW Radio, because that just livens up things. It gives a different opinion out there. So, yeah, if you're out there listening, if you don't get in this week, this show goes on every Thursday at
Absolutely.
6 p.m. So every Thursday you can talk about the games that have just happened. You can talk about the NBA playoffs that are coming up. There's a lot of sports all the time. And like you said, we're even covering the semi-pro leagues. And we've done some sports. Who was your niece up at Benedictine?
Oh, lacrosse. We did lacrosse.
Yeah, we did lacrosse here. I mean,
at Benedictine, yes. When they were going for the national title, they ended up becoming runner-up to a team that had won it several years in a row. They were just too good for them at that point, but they had that miraculous run, and then COVID kept them from actually beating them and winning the national title. So, yeah, so we got that. I know that we got girls soccer. I know Kansas, which is not one of my favorite teams, but there is a young lady that plays soccer out for Kansas, and whose father and I have been friends since we were 8 years old. And we would definitely like to get her come on the show, and we will do that sometime. But right now it's not the season, but definitely we can do that. So, guys, this is one of the best shows. Definitely, I will admit, my show, well, our show, because this is also George Walker's and Darwin Penny. And when Darwin Penny is here, I will admit this is a much better show because we work well together. But this is still a great show. Now he has commitments, and as we were I was talking to somebody earlier. We have to pay bills, so we have to work too. So, if we didn't work, we wouldn't be here. Oh, I was joking with you. Earlier, saying that if I didn't have no money, I wouldn't have the money to buy gas to drive
absolutely,
out.
Absolutely.
And the gas prices are starting to go up. Yesterday morning, I go to Quick Trip. It was $3.37 over on 40 Highway in Sterling, and I come back, and it jumps up 22 cents. I was like, oh, my gosh.
And I tell you, I'm kind of glad that we do have a Tesla in the driveway, too. So tomorrow I won't have to drive my car because I'll be out with my wife, and we'll just run on that electric.
There you go. You don't need gas. Now, I will, but I have a Fiesta, which I get a lot of miles to the gallon, so I don't drive it 5 miles and then have to refill it up again.
Absolutely.
So that's a good thing. Now, I do want to say this one thing. A former NFL player passed away at the age of 31. His name was Chris Smith. He was a former defensive lineman who played for 5 different teams during an 8-year career. He passed away on Monday. They didn't release the cause of his death, but that is a shame. So to him and his family, prayers are out to him, and the kid that was shot. He is, I guess, expecting to make a full recovery, which is fantastic, and I am so glad for that. That was just a horrible. That was just a horrible thing, and unfortunately, it's getting worse and worse out there. And I know we're not talking sports right this second, but this is life, and I get tired of hearing it all the time, and I imagine other people agree with me, and just get frustrated with stuff like that. And I'm just like, I am tired of hearing stuff like this. People's ignorance is causing this. People's anger. They don't think logical. They think emotional, and because of that, they do things that some wish they could take back, and some, I hate to say it, they probably don't even regret doing that, and that's even worse. So anyway, enough with that. But next Thursday, we're going to talk a lot about the NFL draft. And as you know, the draft is here in Kansas City. So when we leave this show, 1 week and 6 minutes from now, they will officially start the NFL draft with Carolina having the number 1 pick and having them decide who they're gonna take. I know that they're debating on who it is. It's going to be Bryce Young from Alabama. And the last time that I predicted a quarterback to be drafted, I predicted Baker Mayfield. Remember that?
Okay.
Yes, I predicted him, and but hopefully Baker Mayfield's nowhere to be found. But I think Bryant Young. Did I say that right? Bryce Young.
Okay, yeah, there you go. So you knew something.
I knew it started with a B, and it wasn't Brian Young. It was Bryce Young, the quarterback from Alabama. He is going to be the number 1 pick. Now, here's the thing. Houston has the 2nd pick. Now, Houston hasn't been the same since Deshaun Watson was drafted by Houston, and they were playing pretty decent ball. And now and I don't know if it's a ploy, if it's a game, to just get the people, making them think, well, who are they going to pick? But they have said that they wasn't going to pick a quarterback. Now, if you have a team has not been performing well the last few years, in fact, Houston has been one of the 3 worst teams in the NFL the last 3 years, you would think that you would want to rebuild and get a new quarterback. You've got the opportunity to get it because you don't know.
Maybe they're looking for Aaron Rodgers to come to Houston.
Well, yeah, but Aaron Rodgers dropped down to 24. Remember that?
Oh, man, yeah.
But no. So you don't know if they're going to pick that. And then you've got Arizona. And then I believe it's Chicago with the 4th pick. So you've got a lot of opportunities. Now the Chiefs, like we said, is drafting 31st. Now, they don't have needs like Houston does, like Carolina does. They don't need players to make their team better. Kansas City just needs to reload. They just need to get backups, to get guys in there, just make the team that much better. They don't have glaring needs like Carolina, like Houston, like Arizona. Now, saying that, a lot of people are wanting a wide receiver. Now, here's the issue. You want a player that, because in the first round, you can get him for 5 years. All the other players after the first round are 4 years or less. So, saying that, you don't really want a wide receiver that is 4 year or a 5 year when you can get somebody like a defensive lineman, a tackle. So I don't believe the Chiefs are going to get a wide receiver in the first round. Now, there are going to be plenty of wide receivers throughout the draft that they can get. I think they need to get some more defensive help and get it better. I mean, the offense is good, but yes, we do need to reload. And as I was hearing somebody say today, Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback, and he is paid to make that team better. But saying that, you've got to give him weapons. Tom Brady struggled in his last few years. Even though he could still get New England to the Super Bowl, he's really struggled because they wouldn't give him the weapons necessary. And then he goes to Tampa Bay, and he had more weapons in Tampa Bay than he did his 20-year career at New England.
Yeah, he finished out with a pretty good look. I mean, you may wonder about him wanting to hang on so long, but, I mean, he did have a good look out there, and we don't know if he's going to stay retired now, really.
Right. I really think that he is going to retire. It would take something astronomical for him to do that. And I really think once he sits back and relaxes a little bit, I think he'll be more at peace with his decision of retiring. But
the Chiefs do have to build up some defense. I mean, we lost a little bit on our defense, so if anything, I think they would be looking at first would be a defensive back, a defensive end, and they need a wide receiver because they lost out there too. So,
right, absolutely.
Yeah, it's got a few things that they should look at just to keep the team at that high level.
Right, and with that, we are at the end of our awesome show.
Oh, wow.
Any Given Sunday. Next week, I will let you know who they are going to pick with the 31st pick. And we'll see if DJ Scatter and Coach 24 have their picks too. So with that, great show. DJ Scatter, George Walker, phenomenal behind the scenes. Coach 24, Darwin Penny. I am Brian Kress, the Awesome Voice. This is Any Given Sunday on KUAW. Be awesome, not angry, and you guys have yourself a phenomenal weekend.